Hello, everybody. This is Dave Wallace coming to you from my home here in Waihawa, Hawaii, and my doggy just pulled up. Anyway, welcome to Monday Talk Story Time, and it's a pleasure to be here today. And it's nice and cool, and sitting under our beautiful lychee tree with the orchids in the background again. Anyway, welcome. Today, I'd like to share with you an interesting story that just came across my desk several days. Actually, it's been several day burn for me. And how this started is that one of my relatives posted a picture and started naming people in the picture, and I came across a name, a Hawaiian name that looked odd to me, and something was wrong with the name, and my gut feeling that this name isn't right. So I called my relative and asked him, "Is this name correct?" Because this name, when I looked it up and stuff, it meant to be tired, worn out, and just giving up. And this was a name that was given to a young girl who's about 10 years old, and she's a family member of mine. So I was wondering who gave her that name, and why would someone give that name to a child? So today I'd like to talk to you folks about the importance of names, naming things. In Hawaiian culture, and in many cultures around the world, everything that was important was given a name. Okay, weapons were given names. The malo that our warriors wore, they were given names. The implements that they had were given names, because in a name you have mana. In a name you have purpose. In a name you have intent. Okay, and these things are embedded in the person, in the item. And for the Hawaiian concept of the universe, everything is living, everything is alive. So everything that means something to you, you name. Okay, and so in choosing names, especially for people, we need to be careful and pick names that are meaningful, because they carry the intent of the parent, grandparents, and the generations to come. And names are very important. Okay, so unfortunately, as our family grow and spread around the world, right now I have more family living up in the mainland than living here. And these are immediate families, brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews. Both of my children live up in the mainland, and all of our grandbabies are up in the mainland. So they're no longer here in Hawaii. So I understand why transplants from Hawaii to the mainland would want to continue uh, the tradition of naming their children and giving them Hawaiian names. But in the process, you need to exercise care. Okay, and I've already run into several problems with family living up the mainland and trying to adopt Hawaiian names. The first one happened several years ago when a niece of mine was trying to name a business after my father using the Hawaiian name, and when she spent a lot of money on business cards and pamphlets and things like that for her business. And when I saw a copy of her business card, I immediately contacted them and the mom and says, you know what, you folks misspelled Dad's name. And instead of saying thank you and stuff, I was blasted. Okay. Um, in Hawaiian name, you miss one letter, you change the whole meaning of the word. And that's what happened. One letter was left out. And this is something that's been consistent and stuff with a lot of Hawaiian names. Somebody hears something and their ears not tune into the Hawaiian language and stuff, and their sense of spelling and sounding things out and stuff doesn't come out right. So a lot of errors are made in trying to uh, copy a name that sounds good, but they don't take enough time to further research. So I've run into several situations like that. And the most recent one is a relative of ours using a name. When I saw the name, it sounded strange to me, and I didn't recognize the name. And so I had to look it up. And the literal meaning of the word was a person that is tired all the time. Okay? Tired, worn out, and giving up. And so when I seen that name and finally understood, okay, this is what it means. Why would a parent name the child that? That was confusing. So I wanted to clarify that, and hopefully we get that thing clarified and where was the mistake. Okay. Anyway, so names. If you're gonna name someone, make sure that the name is meaningful and you do research about the name. Uh, I know in certain families, they talk about kapu names, names of important ancestors, where you need special permission to pass on the name from one generation to the next. There's also examples of kind of like burdens uh, that were passed on from generation to generation and based on names. Okay. And for me, and so far, if people ask me about my name, I know the history of my name, where my name comes from. My first name is actually David John. David is named after is a name of my uncle David, my mom's brother, and he was known as Joe Guts by his wife. That's what they called him because he was daring. He was fearless. He was a soldier during World War II, and he also fought in the Korean War. So, very gutsy guy. And to tell you a little bit about his character and stuff, he had two tattoos on him. Well, one was the number 13, and the other one was a black cat. Favorite things of his. Okay, so he didn't see that as something bad luck. In fact, that was his good luck omen. He felt so. That's the kind of guy he was. And John is the name of my maternal grandfather, John Broad, and that's my uncle David's father. And Grandpa John, I really love that man, and my fondest memory of him was sitting on like a porch of his house. He had a nice big front porch, benches and a rocking chair out there and stuff. And he used to sit down and play his auto harp and just strumming away and stuff like that. And we used to like listening to him play that and enjoy listening to him. And he was a self-taught musician. He played several instruments: violin, saxophone, auto harp, and could do a lot of different things. So my grandpa was always busy doing different things, and he liked to learn new things. And so I think I get a lot of that from him. Okay. And my Hawaiian name, Imaikalani, actually is a name I got from my grandma Ellen Makivi Wallace. That's my dad's mom. And from what I understand, the name came from a dream. And in that dream, she saw a person that could communicate with God and the angels. And this is something that I could do at a very early age after getting my head injured in a car accident. And I could see spirits in a hospital, and some people call them ghosts, but they're for me they were just spirits. Okay, and I could also see hidden things, things that nobody else could see. I could, and that trait has been reawoken in me, in my older age. There was a time period in my life where I was running from my gifts, and I had to hide it away because I was being persecuted because of it. So now that I'm older, I really don't care what other people think about me and stuff. I'm more freely sharing it than open about it. So instead of being the cat let out of the bag and stuff, it's the ghost that was let out of the closet. Okay, so for me, this is the life that I was meant to live. Okay, and it comes from Imaikalani. Imaikalani also has a history, long history. In fact, one of the Imaikalanis was a blind warrior on the Big Island where um, he depended on two ducks flying overhead. And through the sounds that the ducks were making, he could tell what his opponents, where his opponents were coming, what kind of weapons they were using, and when they were striking, the ducks would call out what strike. So Imaikalani knew a counter move to counter that. So the ducks and turning towards the heaven and having faith in the heavens was the way that Imaikalani survived. And so this name carries a lot of mana and responsibility because the heaven speaks to all of us, but not too many listen here. So to be successful and stuff, you need to learn to listen, and not only listen. Some people hear, but they don't understand. So it's understanding, you know. The ducks not just making noise, but they're saying something that has meaning, and you need to understand what that meaning is. Okay. Anyway, so names carry mana, and that's why when we're giving our children, grandchildren, mopuna, or anyone that comes and asks for our aid, we need to take our time. Okay. And for me, if somebody asks me for a Hawaiian name, especially a relative or a friend, I still have people contacting me asking me if I can help them name their child. I take the responsibility very seriously, and I take it to prayer, and I ask my kupuna and spirit guides for help. And so most of the time the name will come in a form of a dream. Okay, and in the dream I would have to piece the dream and what I see in my dream together, and from there I can put together um, a meaningful name, a name that will be that will carry the thoughts and intentions of the parents. Okay, so I'm just not picking names out of the hat just because they sound beautiful. uh, these names have meaning, and many layers of meaning, like any Hawaiian name. Okay, some names that you give Hawaiian names, a person will have to learn how to grow into them. And as they age, like I have, and so on, the names and the meaning of the name change. And that's exactly what happened to me. The meaning keeps on changing and getting deeper and deeper into the kauna or hidden meanings. Anyway, this is a message for today. So be careful about Hawaiian names that you give to other people. Just because it sounds beautiful doesn't mean that the meaning is beautiful. Make it meaningful. And if you don't know anything about the Hawaiian language, ask someone who does. Okay. So until Friday, when I'll be posting the Powerball numbers, and the Powerball numbers keep on climbing, and look like we're gonna hit another $500 million. Yeah. So I look forward to that. So until Friday, and this is Dave Wallace from Waiwa, Hawaii, saying mahalo for watching, and aloha.